Hello and welcome everyone. I'm Taklai, and today I thought I would bring a story on the Guardian to your attention. It's about what the Ethiopian army has been getting up to in the Amhara region. I'm get back to the story in a second, but before that, I thought I would make a simple request. I had just been checking the analytics of our YouTube channel, and I could see that most of the views to our content come from people who haven't subscribed, and that is fine. There is no problem with that. But there is an interesting thing that happens that the YouTube algorithm does when the number of subscribers increases. As the number of subscribers increases, the content is recommended to many more people, as sort of at the function of the number of people subscribing. So there is a direct connection between number of subscribers and the number of people to whom the content is recommended. And because we want to reach to as many people as possible, it would be wonderful if you could subscribe. Of course, if you like what we publish, if you think that you are likely to view or to watch next content that we publish as well, because otherwise there is no point in subscribing. And the more subscribers we have, the more easy it becomes for us to convince guests to come on, because generally people would like to appear on big channels because they want to speak to as many people as possible. So for those reasons, it would be wonderful if you could subscribe. So with that out of the way, let me get stuck into the story that I want to share with you today, the Guardian story. So broadly, it's about what the Ethiopian army did in a small town in the Amhara region, a town called Majete. So on the 3rd of September, so today is 8th, so it would have been 5 days ago, the army stormed into the city and they killed, again, according to the report, which is by Lucy Kasam, the army killed about 70 civilians, extrajudicially, they say. And of course, those of you who know the brutality of the Ethiopian army in Tigray wouldn't be surprised. This is the sort of behavior that you would expect from the Ethiopian army. You would expect them to go into civilian places, into houses, and kill people for all sorts of reasons. Sometimes because they suspect the people of collaboration with the enemy that they are fighting. In this case, Fano. Sometimes it's just for fun. Sometimes it's because they suspect that the people themselves are members of Fano, and all sorts of weird reasons that the Ethiopian army kills people for. Now, we know what it has been doing in Tigray. So those of us who have been trying to call on the international community to rein in on the Ethiopian army because it was acting very, very, very wild, have always known that they were going to do this in Amhara and they were going to do this in Oromia and elsewhere. So no surprise there. But I'm trying to speak to the people, especially to members of the Amhara political class, who had been saying when the army was in Tigray that the army is very, very professional, that the army doesn't kill civilians, that any reporters about the Ethiopian army killing Tigrayan civilians was an attempt by Western media outlets and by Western organizations and bodies to tarnish the image of the army and thus the image of Ethiopia. That was the defense that they deployed. Everyone in the Amhara, you could say, really, but I'm trying to be politically correct. So that we were told that the Ethiopian army is so professional that it wouldn't even conceive of killing civilians in Tigray. But now, they are saying that actually the army is killing civilians, and they're right. That's what it is doing. It's killing civilians in Amhara, and one of the ironies is that the Amhara people were supposed to be, what is the word? What would the English word for Dejen be? Because you remember when Abiy Ahmed, when the Ethiopian army was routed out of Tigray, in a feeble attempt to explain away the defeat in Tigray, Abiy Ahmed said that the reason, he said that the army retreated from Tigray on its own volition rather than defeated, and he said that it had to retreat to Amhara to replenish and to prepare and all that, because the Amhara region, he said, was the dejen of sort of its home, its safe place, you could say. I'm sort of struggling to find the opposite word, but you get the point. So they are doing the killing in a region that is supposedly their home, and they are supposed to be sympathetic to the people. But even in that circumstance, they are going around and killing people for fun, as far as I could tell. And I think there's an important message to the Amhara elites who have been staunch supporters of the Ethiopian army in the face of very, very clear and categorical reports that the army was killing civilians in Tigray. And I'm just focusing on the Ethiopian army. There is no telling about what the Fano and the Eritrean armies were doing in Tigray, because when it comes to the degree of brutality, the Eritrean army and the Fano are on a completely different scale. But that is for another time. I'm just focusing on the Ethiopian army now. And so just, maybe 2 or 3 stories from the sort of accounts from the story. So this is 29-year-old Yayenesh. Of course, names have been anonymized, have been changed to apparently to protect their safety. So she says they members of the Ethiopian army, they came to our village late afternoon. They asked me and my family where we hide our weapons, and threatened us to make us hand over the weapons to them. Now these are farmers, small town. They have no weapons. They are civilians. We told them that we are innocent farmers and we don't have weapons. When they found no weapon after searching the house, they rounded up my 2 brothers alongside the younger men of our village and shot them all in the head. So this is one account given by this young lady, Yesainesh. Yesainesh is a strange name that The Guardian used. I don't think this is a common name in Amhara, but that's beside the point. I digress. And there's another account given by a 49-year-old mother. And so this is what she says. Terrified by the new killings we received from our relatives in nearby villages, we were sitting in our house, locking the doors when the federal troops arrived. So they are sitting there dreading. I hoped they would pass our house when we didn't answer their knock, but they broke in and became angry when they found us inside. She said cheerfully. They questioned my husband, asking if he's a Fano militia member hiding from them. My husband tried to explain that he's a civilian and begged them not to kill him, but the soldiers didn't listen. They shot dead my husband in front of me. Then they said to me to bury him. The brutality, the cruelty is just boundless. Kicking his dead body as if he wasn't a human being. So imagine the horror, the pain that she was made to witness. You know, they killed her husband in front of her, and although that wasn't enough, they went on to kick his dead body, and similar stories given by other people. So these are the sorts of stuff the Ethiopian army is doing in Amhara, and I think people shouldn't forget that if this is what it is doing in Amhara, where you know, there hasn't been any sustained propaganda to make the Amhara people look like enemies of the state, or look like vermins, or look like aliens in the way that the Tigrayans had been made. If this is what they are doing to them, to people whom they are supposed to be sympathetic because they are dead, as I said, it's not difficult to imagine what they must have done in Tigray. And we know that most of the atrocities in Tigray haven't been reported because of the blockage. And I think I just want to make the point that the Ethiopian army should be disbanded, actually. That is what I think. But maybe that's a long shot for now. I think for now, the Amharas should, now that they could see, I mean, even before, it's not that they didn't know this is what they were doing in Tigray, but because of tribal loyalties or sheer hatred for the Tigrayans, or because of a false sense of patriotism, they had defended the Ethiopian army, and now it has the problem has come to them, and they can't continue defending the Ethiopian army. And I'm happy to join the Amharas and other people in calling for the Ethiopian army to withdraw from Amhara. I'm not here to say to revel in suffering in Amhara. I think it's about time that the bloodletting stopped in Ethiopia. It's about time that the Ethiopian army is brought to justice. It's about time that people of Ethiopia, with Tigrayans or Amharas or Oromos, stood together and closed this barbaric chapter. And one way of doing that, of course, is supporting the extension of the mandate of the UN investigative body. It would be a tragedy if the mandate was terminated. I think the UN will have its summit 13th of September. It would be a tragedy because that would mean that Abiy would have got away with murder, and that would mean that he's going to go on killing people in the Amhara. And it is in nobody's interest for the mandate to be terminated. We should join. I don't know, how many people from Amhara and from outside Tigray listen to me, but that would be my message. We should join hands and make sure that the army is brought to court, and that was that, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.